This egg rice bowl took me 1 hour to make, and this egg rice bowl took me 50 hours to make. Both of these were inspired by Food Wars when Yukihira had to try to impress Erina with a simple dish using an egg. But I figured, why don't we take this a few steps further, 50 times further than we've gone before. And so today, I'm going to be taste testing the 1 hour version of Yukihira's transforming rice versus the 50-hour version of Yukihira's transforming rice that he could have potentially made if he had more time. Is the 1 hour version going to be better than the 50-hour version? I don't know. That's why I'm doing this. I just want to find out. Thanks to Rocket Money for sponsoring a portion of today's video, but more on them later. To make the 1 hour transforming rice is relatively simple. I'm using about 3 pounds worth of chicken wings to make my gelatin or my stock. I first start by getting a large saute pan and searing the chicken in just a little bit of oil. This helps brown up the chicken a bit and give it a good amount of flavor. Once the chicken is seared, this is where I deglaze it with a few things. First, I add a bit of water and then I add bonito flakes to this, but the bonito flakes are actually in the form of fish granules that I use for fish stock. Think of it as an instant bonito fish broth. To this, I'm adding sake, mirin, sugar, soy sauce, and a touch of salt. I'm making sure that the liquid does cover the chicken wings so this way it can reduce and release all of the gelatin from those chicken wings. After about an hour, all of that liquid should have reduced by at least half. This is going to ensure that the broth gets thick enough to turn into those little beautiful cubes of deliciousness that Yukihira puts on top of the rice. After it's reduced by half, I put this into a container to cool down. This has to be completely cold, so this way I can cut it into cubes for when I assemble the final dish. Once it's cooled down, it is cold enough to cut into those cubes. I cut them into small pieces and I made about 2 to 3 tablespoons worth of the sauce into cubes. This is what those cubes now look like. They look like little gems of joy and flavor. The 50-hour version is far more involved than it should be, but it's worth the time, I think. For the 50-hour version, I'm making a traditional demi-glace. Demi-glace is a brown sauce and it's one of the mother sauces used in French cuisine. Demi-glace is also heavily used in Japanese cuisine in a lot of dishes. One of the dishes you may have seen it be used in the most is omurice. It's usually laced it right on top of all of that egg and it just makes it creamy and savory and unctuous. This is how I made my demi-glace. I first started with around 3 pounds of bones that I roasted in the oven at around 500 degrees Fahrenheit for around 15 minutes. This helps give them a little bit of color and release a lot of the oils. Once those bones were roasted, that goes into a very large pot along with onions, carrot, and celery. I filled this pot up all the way to the top and brought this to a boil and then back down to a simmer. This liquid reduced for about 30 hours, and this is what it looks like after those 30 hours. Yes, I changed pots midway through because I wanted to add more water. Once I have this 30-hour reduction of beef broth ready, I have to strain out all of this beef broth and then we're going to reduce it again. The next time I reduce it, I'm actually adding in more onions and tomato paste along with some red wine and some herbs and some spices. The first thing I'm doing is I'm searing off around 3 whole onions, just the bottom side of them to get them nice and caramelized. This gives a lot of color and flavor to the sauce. Once those onions are caramelized, I remove those from the pot and then add in about a half a cup of tomato paste. The tomato paste gives it a ton of that beautiful umami flavor that you're going to be looking for and also adds a bit of sweetness and some acidity. Once the tomato paste is cooked for a few minutes, this is where I'm adding in a bunch of red wine. This is about 2 cups of red wine. This cooks until it's reduced by half. Now that I have my red wine and my tomato mixture, I'm adding in all of my beef broth and those onions that I caramelized. For spices, I'm using some thyme that I stole from my neighbors, as well as some peppercorns and some bay leaves. This entire thing has to reduce for another 4 to 5 hours until it is again reduced by half, if not a little bit further. Once it's reduced, I'm straining everything out and putting it into a small container to cool down completely. This is my final demi-glace. And after 50 hours, this is what my demi-glace looks like. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't cube up as nicely because the bones were a little bit small, so there wasn't a ton of gelatin in that stock. The flavor is amazing. So now we have to finish both of these rice bowls and see which one is the winner. The other day I found out that I have 2 Disney Plus subscriptions and I've already watched all the anime they have on offer. I don't even know how many months this has been happening where I've been paying double for the same service that lacks in its anime selection. It doesn't make any sense. Well, today's sponsor, Rocket Money, is here to help me and you. For those of you who don't know, Rocket Money is the app that helps you manage your money and save it better. Admittedly, one big problem that I have, and I think a lot of people have, are managing our subscriptions. It helped me identify where I was paying what subscription services, and I could easily cancel them them within the app. Imagine not having to go to these websites to cancel your service, because sometimes they hide the cancellation buttons. You can just do it within the Rocket Money app. Rocket Money customers have saved up to $740 a year by using all of the features within the app. To try Rocket Money for free with all of their premium features, all you need to do is head to the link below or rocketmoney.com/chefpk. That's rocketmoney.com/chefpk to start saving today. The simplest part of this dish is the eggs, but it doesn't mean that the eggs are not important. Into a large saute pan, I'm adding in about 1 tablespoon of butter, and this is going to be for 4 eggs because we're gonna do 2 eggs in each bowl. Before that butter is fully melted, I'm gonna add in all of my whisked eggs. This is the 4 eggs that I had whisked earlier. Like with any good scrambled eggs, you want this to be a nice, soft scramble. Don't overcook your scrambled eggs. You know what? Overcook your eggs. I don't care what you do, you're eating it. I just want you to enjoy it. I like a nice soft scramble. Once those are about halfway done, I'm adding in a pinch of salt. Now I'm gonna turn this off because that's all the time I'm gonna be cooking this. It was, I don't know, 45 seconds or so, that's it. This is what I like my eggs to look like, delicious. Each of these bowls is going to get the same portion of rice. You can have as much rice as you want. I'm not doing too much because I'm all alone today. Nobody's here with me except for Gandalf, and I think he's just asleep somewhere. Don't worry, Lucian's here too. I know you guys ask about Lucian all the time. He's here. Now to kind of do this up like Yukihira did, I'm gonna take half of the eggs and I'm gonna put them into separate bowls. So we're just gonna kind of guesstimate on this one. First, I'm taking the chicken stock. This is the traditional Yukihira style version. I'm gonna put a few of those into this bowl. This is with the first batch of eggs. Then I'm gonna take the demi-glace and I'm gonna put this with the second batch of eggs. This one is definitely more saucy, but it's so viscous and thick and delicious looking. It's a lot of demi. This is what my eggs currently look like. 50 hours here, 1 hour here. You tell me which one you want. Now, we do the thing. Hoots! Gandalf, did you hear that? Do you wanna come be the judge? Yeah, hold on, let me get you a chair. Here you go, buddy. Come on. Up. There you go. Okay, we have our judge. He's joined us. You guys always say, I never feed Gandalf. That's because he can't eat this stuff, but you can have a fish. No swiping. There you go. You can have the fish. Okay. Let's take a look at what these look like. Whoa! No, Gandalf! No! So he's gonna go for this one because there's bonito in it. But hold on. You gotta give me a second. I gotta try them first. All right, Gandalf, which one do you want? You can't have, not that. Which one do you want? No, is it that one? Do you want this one? Do you want to try this one? This one. Okay, that's the eggs. Gandalf seems to like the 50-hour version, but we still have to try them. I'm gonna be trying the 1 hour version first. Hold on, Gandalf. You can kind of see the gelled chicken stock starting to melt on the eggs. That's exactly what you want. Hold on, buddy. 1 hour version, cheers. It's one of my favorite dishes from Food Wars because it's so easy to make. It's really good. I love the 1 hour version. It takes no time to make, it's really cheap, and you can make a ton of it. But I want to try the 50-hour version. You can see how much more coverage the sauce has on the rice. Give me 1 second. Cheers. That is amazing. It's a completely different flavor than the chicken one. The chicken version is really nice. It's a little light, salty, soy sauce flavor. You can taste everything. The 50-hour version is much deeper in flavor. It has an incredible richness to it. You can just see the difference in color from the 50-hour version compared to the 1 hour version. Okay, fine, you can have one more fish. Go ahead, there you go. But if you were to tell me this takes me 50 hours versus the 1 hour, I would probably still go for the 50-hour version because it's not really a lot of time that you're doing stuff. You're just reducing stuff overnight. This is also more expensive, so there's something to be said there, maybe by a few dollars realistically, not that much more. But honestly, you're not gonna go wrong either way. I think the 50-hour version is my winner. If you wanna try any of my anime-based recipes, consider checking out my cookbooks. Over on CHEFPK.com, you can pick up your very own version of Annie Bites. This has a collection of anime-based recipes that I'm sure you're going to love. I have a ton of Food Wars recipes like Nikumi's Loco Moco that I absolutely love to have. If you guys want to pick up one of my anime-based cookbooks, check out the link below at chefpk.com and let me know which one you would spend the time and money on, the 50-hour version or the 1 hour version. Gandalf clearly likes the 50-hour version, I think. Could we play that back? Okay, that's the eggs. Okay, my name is Chef PK, and remember, keep playing with your food.